Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
The reporter didn't even get the chance to finish his question, but he didn't need to. In just 2 words, Angel Reese summed up the current state of the WNBA and its complicated relationship with Caitlin Clark. And now, that relationship has reached a turning point. There's no denying Caitlin Clark's influence on the league. She's brought in millions of new fans, filled arenas, and driven record-breaking viewership. What's just as undeniable, though, is how badly the league mishandled that moment. Rather than fully leaning into the surge of attention she created, many within the WNBA pushed back. They questioned the excitement, minimized her impact, and, most damaging of all, mocked the fans she brought with her. Instead of seeing the Caitlin Clark effect as an opportunity, they treated it like a problem. And to outsiders, that reaction was baffling.
But the WNBA last year, bless their hearts, finally got a star. And they didn't know that. They couldn't figure it out. Well, we don't want to put too much Caitlin Clark on. Nope, every game. More Caitlin Clark all the time, always. Caitlin Clark is easily the most influential athlete in a team sport since Michael Jordan.
The success, the mainstream attention, the headlines, the hype, the sold-out arenas, was everything the WNBA had been chasing for decades. The league finally had its moment. The right player, the spotlight, and a true cultural breakthrough. Real money was within reach, along with livable salaries and global recognition. But there was a catch. Caitlin Clark was the one leading the charge. And for many players, that didn't feel like a victory. It felt like a loss. For some, her rise wasn't just an unexpected turn. It felt like the end of a long-held dream. The belief that they, as a collective, would be the ones to lift the league together. Maybe the toughest reality to face was this. After years of being told fans simply didn't care about women's basketball, the fans did show up. They just showed up for Caitlin Clark.
There's levels to this thing, and that's just life. We all went through it.
Yes, Diana, there are. And much like dealing with a loss, players and media alike have gone through what looks a lot like the stages of grief. Denial, anger, and everything in between. Just wait until you see how it all connects. It's honestly wild. The whole situation has been messy, uncomfortable, and overall a terrible look for the WNBA. But recently, something changed. What should have been an ordinary, forgettable moment ended up shifting the entire narrative. Now the league clearly sees what's coming, and they're rushing to make sure they're on the right side of history. We'll break down exactly what happened in a second. But first, if you're ready to watch the WNBA finally give in to Caitlin Clark, hit like and subscribe. Now, let's rewind for a moment.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
By this point last season, Caitlin Clark was already impossible for much of the WNBA to ignore. She didn't simply arrive. She exploded onto the scene. Viewership tripled, arenas sold out, and jersey sales skyrocketed. Every Indiana Fever game turned into a can't-miss spectacle, with fans lining up hours in advance and resellers charging playoff-level prices for ordinary regular season matchups.
Now, if we say her stats are today, what?
20 points, 8.4 assists, 6 rebounds.
That's crazy.
But 5 points.
The resentment began long before Caitlin Clark ever stepped onto a WNBA court. The buzz surrounding her was truly once in a generation. She had just shattered the NCAA's all-time scoring record, men's and women's, led Iowa to consecutive national title games, and sold out every arena she played in. She pulled up from the logo like it was routine. Then came the WNBA draft. There was no drama, no mystery, it was a coronation. Clark was the clear #1 pick, but more importantly, she was the moment. The flashes, the headlines, the sponsors waiting in line. That's where things started to feel different. The league had seen elite talent before: Aya Wilson, Kelsey Plum, Breanna Stewart, true superstars, MVPs, champions. But none of them arrived with this level of attention. And for some, that reality hit hard. Enter the first stage of grief: denial. This wasn't healthy skepticism, it was outright pushback. Veterans, media voices, even league insiders rushed to minimize what was happening. The tension was visible long before Clark ever took the floor.
Caitlyn's coming. There's more than just that are coming. What will the league have in store for them when they get there?
Look, SVP, reality is coming.
If Caitlin Clark had come into the league and struggled, or even just looked average, the veterans would have had their told you so moment. The storyline was ready. College dominance doesn't translate, the WNBA is different, and you don't just walk in and outperform the players who built the league. The hype would have faded, the cameras would have moved on, and the old guard would have felt justified. But that's not what happened. Her debut drew 2.1 million viewers, the most watched WNBA game in more than 20 years. Every appearance sent ratings climbing. National TV slots, packed arenas, jerseys selling out. She wasn't just living up to expectations, she was exceeding them. That's when the mood shifted to stage 2, anger. Once it became clear that no amount of criticism or dismissive commentary was going to slow her momentum, the resistance moved onto the court. Whether intentional or not, the response became physical. Hard screens, extra contact away from the ball, plays that crossed the line, and the officials largely let it go. A pattern emerged. Let her take hits, let frustration build, make her question whether she belonged. If the hype couldn't be cooled off naturally, maybe it could be worn down through pressure and punishment. Game after game, it took a toll. She looked battered, worn down, mentally exhausted. Still, Clark didn't break.
She didn't complain.
She adapted, got stronger, sharper, and after the Olympic break returned playing the best basketball of her career. MVP-caliber performances. Leading Indiana to wins. Shattering the assist record. First-team All-Star honors. The works. And once it was undeniable that the hype was real, the conversation moved to stage 3, bargaining. This is where people try to reinterpret reality, to explain it in a way that preserves what they feel they've lost. Status. Influence. Control. Because the truth is, for many, the biggest loss was ego. Clark arrived, took over the spotlight, and suddenly it wasn't on the veterans anymore. So they shifted the narrative.
It's just the structure of the way media plays out race. So last night we read Time magazine where Caitlin Clark was named Athlete of the Year. Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover?
The one thing that I cannot deny is the amount of little girls that were showing up to follow her. Little girls with their parents and the fervor and the energy there.
Why her?
Same thing.
Why her?
Well, but she was a white girl from the middle of America.
Instead of attacking Caitlin Clark directly, critics went after everything around her, her fans, the media, and the attention she received. They reframed the conversation, claiming her popularity was about bias rather than talent, ignoring her on-court production and the historic growth she brought to the league. But the numbers told a different story. Veterans chose to join Indiana because of her. Teams moved games to NBA arenas. Nearly every Fever game landed on national television. Preseason games sold out at record prices, and millions tuned in just to watch her play. Slowly, resistance turned into acceptance as players, media, and executives realized the truth. Caitlin Clark wasn't hype. She was impact. The league had changed, and there was no going back.